In this video, I'm going to be discussing various methods for adding team competitions to a Keypoint Interactive presentation. Check out the Keypoint Basics tutorial if you need to get caught up, because this video is going to cover a lot and it picks up where that one left off. Anytime scoring is involved, we need to configure the correct answer. Otherwise, Keypoint won't be able to calculate who got the right answer. Recall that if we click on the question slide, we gain access to the options for that question up here on the Keypoint tab. This is where we used the Correct Answers button to set up all of the above as the answer for this question. Notice that we can also specify how many points each answer is worth. Later, we'll have the option to display scores based on points or the percentage of the team that responded correctly. Let's set this one for 25 points. In order to have a team competition, we also need to have some teams. Those are created here by selecting Configure Teams from the submenu under the View Roster button. I'm just going to add 3 teams here and name them Red, Green, and Blue. Configure Teams also has options for rearranging the order of the teams and for deleting them. In addition, you may have a column labeled Base Points. Imagine an event where teams can earn points here in Keypoint, but they can also earn points by competing in some activity outside of Keypoint. You can add those extra points here and then configure a team scores chart to factor them in for a total overall score. There's also a participant button, which can be used to manually assign participants to teams. However, we'll come back to that after we discuss the roster in the next video. For now, I'm just going to leave the teams empty and show you how to have participants assign themselves. You'll need to create a question slide to accomplish that. I'll insert one here after the title slide. This is created in exactly the same way as our other question slide. I can actually use any words I want here for the choices, but for clarity, I'm going to use the same thing I used for the team names. Remember, once I click off of the question, Keypoint will read my text and label the bars. To use this question to populate my teams, I just need to click the Assign Teams button and match up the choices with the teams I want them assigned to. Okay, so now we've got a question with a correct answer and a question to put people onto their teams. We just need a chart to show how the teams scored. Here, on the submenu under the Chart button, there is a competition menu. Selecting Team Scores Chart slide here will insert the slide we're looking for. I'll just give it a title, and it's technically good to go. If you watched the tutorial on the pre-post comparisons, then you may remember that all charts automatically use the data from the nearest preceding question. That means this chart will automatically show the scores from the question on slide 4. That's exactly what we want for right now. The chart defaulted to showing team % correct. That's perfectly fine, but this is a tutorial and I did set up the question to be worth 25 points. Switching the chart to points is as easy as clicking on it and then clicking the points button on the Keypoint tab. Let's run the slideshow and see what we have so far. Stepping through the presentation, we get to our first question, and I'll put in some data. We see that I balanced my teams evenly. We'll just skip through my lecture slide because you've seen this several times at this point. Now on to our question slide. I'm going to throw in some votes. Okay, we see that one of my participants thinks that it's web-based and everybody else thinks it's all of these. Let's take a look at the team scores. The red team got 13 points and the other 2 teams got all 25 points. Okay, that worked pretty well. One thing I can see right away is that I'd like the bar colors to correspond to the team names. Easy enough, that's just PowerPoint formatting. It's not much of a competition with only one question. So let's add another one by copying and pasting these 2 slides. Now I need to edit this question real quick. Okay, wait, when I clicked off of the text, Keypoint didn't label my chart. Remember how we manually specified these labels back in the Basics tutorial? So I need to click on this chart and use Keypoint's Edit Labels feature to either set it back to automatically use the question text or to specify manual labels for this one. Lastly, I need to set up the correct answer for this new question, and I think I'll set it to 50 points. Let's jump into the slideshow and respond to this question. Notice that I didn't need to do anything to the team scores chart for it to automatically grab the data from my new question. That's all well and good, but Now we need to show the total scores for all our questions. The easiest way to do that is to duplicate a team scores chart and then use the link to question feature you may remember from the pre-post comparison tutorial. I'm going to select my two competition questions so that this chart totals them together. On the Keypoint tab here is also where you could factor in any base points that you assign to a team. I should probably change the title just to make it clear that this one is showing totals. I think that's enough for this video. The basics of building a team competition consists of providing Keypoint with the correct answers, setting up the team names, and adding team scores chart slides. There's also a top teams list slide and a top keypads list on that same competition menu under the chart button. In the next video, I'll go over the roster and how to manually configure teams instead of having participants self-assign. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series, and as always, let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.